A bittering, citrus bittering hop that we add for 60 minutes. Gives it a nice bitterness in the beer to balance out the sweetness of the malt. Smells delicious.
My business partner, Ryan Richards, and I started Roy Pitz Brewing Company back in April of 2008. When we first started, we were draft only, so the only way to get our product was on draft at local bars and restaurants, and then we also did on-site sales in growlers. Since then, we have basically quadrupled our size, and we also started to release our product in bottles. We just installed the new 20-barrel brew house that's behind me. We, prior to that, had a 7-barrel brew house. So it allows us to make about 3 times as much beer in one day, which has been, a blessing.
Hi, I'm Jan. I'm the assistant brewer here at Roy Pitz Brewing Company in Chambersburg. I'm going to give you a little tour of our new brew house, our improved system. This is our grist case in our mill room. We pre-fill it with all of our grain to be mixed with the batch of beer. We then use gravity to feed it through the mill and out through an auger into the mash tun where it's mixed with the water. This is the side of our system, which is our hot liquor tank. What it does is prepares our water to be mixed with the grain and then produced into beer. It's heated by a steam boiler. It's also heated by a solar battery, which we use solar collectors on the roof to heat up the solar battery tank, which then we recirculate our water through the solar battery tank to keep our water warm to 170 degrees so we don't have to use gas and steam to heat our water up when we're not actually cooking beer. So that's 30 barrels. It's a 900-gallon tank of water. We use about 1 tank every time we make a batch of beer. From here, the water comes out through a transfer pump and then transfers into the next vessel, which is the mash tun. What we do is the water comes in here and recirculates to the top of the tank, comes out of the bottom of the tank under a false bottom, which is a perforated screen that holds the grain above it while letting the water wick through and create a filter bed. We then take the wort, which is the grain and water mixture, bring it through the bottom of the tank, through a transfer pump, and then back up on top of the grain bed to get a consistent mix and satification of our grain. Once the wort has been separated from the barley in the mash tun, it's transferred into the kettle whirlpool, where we then heat it up using 3 steam jackets. This vessel holds 25 barrels, which is equivalent to about 700 gallons. So once the wort boils and is whirlpooled and the hops are added, it's passed through a liquid-to-liquid chiller, which is our heat exchanger, which uses cold groundwater to come in and transfer back into our hot liquor tank, which is how we refill it. So we actually refill our hot liquor tank with 150-degree water by using the energy from the beer boiled to recapture it back into our hot liquor tank. The beer is then cooled down to 70 degrees and then passed from the heat exchanger into the conical fermentation stage. Once the beer comes to the cellar, it enters into fermentation where the wort is mixed with yeast. The yeast then eats the fermentable sugars in the wort, creating alcohol and CO2. Fermentation process for us runs anywhere between 3 days and 7 days. Once the beers are done in the fermentation stage and they reach the final gravity, converting all the fermentable sugars into alcohol, we transfer the beer into a conditioning vessel where we then age, allow the beer to mature, and carbonate the beer into its final product, and from here we package.
We're producing about 80 half kegs a week, and that is equivalent to about, I think, 12,000 bottles a week, if my calculations are correct. So we're really pumping out the beer, and since we released the bottles, we've seen our sales substantially grow, because now we're available at the distributors and a lot of the chain restaurants now too, and basically anyone that sells bottles is putting us on locally, which has been great, and we've gotten an overwhelming positive response from the local market on our product and how fresh it is, and it's the freshest beer in town, so there's no reason that it shouldn't be.